Welcome to Bryceborough and Dottisford. About 6 years ago I decided to build a layout in a spare room which was just 10 foot by 12. Logically I should have gone for 00 or N scale to get lots in, but I do like the presence of the larger scales. So it had to be O scale, even though some of the radii in here go down to 4 foot 6. Bryceborough is a fictitious town situated somewhere in the northeast of England, where the LNER meets the LMS around the late 1950s and early 1960s. A main line from Hull to York passes through, and the small towns of Dottisford and Tipsfield are also served by this mainline station at Bryceborough. Here you can see the mainline platforms 1 and 2 on the right, platforms 3 and 4 are on the bay, and from here runs a push-pull service to Tipsfield. Platform 5 is for services from York. Let me show you some of the trains running on the layout and I'll give you more details about it. All the locos and rolling stock are kit built. We join the layout early in the morning and start the day as a Derby lightweight pulls out of Bryceborough to collect passengers from Dottisford. Meanwhile, the Tipsfield service pulls into the bay platform, drawn by a BR Standard Class 2. This has been modified for push-pull operation. This train is modelled on an actual train that used to run a service into Stamford. Over at Dottisford, passengers for Bryceborough have embarked and the DMU is ready to go. This Derby lightweight is an easy build kit which was assembled so I could access the roof from the inside, essential for installing the interior lights. This particular version was installed with fluorescent lights, which accounts for the bluish hue to the interior. This model is particularly significant to me as I used to travel on one of these from Bridlington to Hull twice a week when I was an apprentice in the mid-1960s. And here is the DMU back from Dottisford coming in on platform 2. Passengers can change here for York or stay on the train for onward travel to Hull. Over in the goods area, a J72 is returning a Gresley coach which has been away for repair. Loco 8680 is a DJH kit modelled on a York Pilot, and the Gresley coach is a Just Like the Real Thing kit. Once the Gresley coach has been dropped off and the J72 has cleared the siding, the XL&Y saddle tank is cleared to take a goods train from the yard. The Hull to York train, pulled by a BR Standard Class 5, waits patiently for passengers from Tipsfield and Dottisford to make their way to platform 1 and board the train. Then, on time as always, she leaves for York. The Class 5 is another DJH kit, and it's pulling an easy build BR Mark 1 coach, followed by a just like the real thing BR Mark 1 coach with a guard's brake compartment. Just approaching the coaling stage and engine shed at Bryceborough is a through train from York, being pulled by G5 number 67282. All the locos are DCC controlled. As you may have noticed, I do like to have lights and lighting effects where possible, and each coach has its own DCC decoder so I can control them individually. In the Gresley coach you can even switch the light in the toilet on and off separately, but that could be taking things a bit too far. I wanted to keep the DCC system purely for locos and rolling stock. So accessories and the infrastructure are driven by C-Bus. This is just 4 wires, one pair for DC power and the other pair for digital instructions. At various points along the bus are circuit boards that decode the instructions and drive the individual items. The desire to add lights to everything does have its downsides. Adding LED lights showed up that rooms in these houses were empty. Furniture of the period in the variety and quantity I was looking for was either not available or very expensive. So I looked into 3D printing and found that for about £300 I could kit myself up with a resin printer and start to find out how to operate free CAD software. That was a bit of a learning curve. But some few weeks later I was printing tables, chairs, beds and wardrobes to furnish the houses. Then came platform trucks and trolleys, sections to make up guttering and downpipes, interconnecting fence panels and gates, a pair of cranes for the goods shed, and operating ground signals. Locos and rolling stock are stored on cassettes. Each of these fits onto a supporting plate which temporarily replaces a section of track. This loads wheels accurately onto the rails and saves an awful lot of manhandling of the models. So that's where we are at present. The next challenge is to add operating semaphore signals. There's just one so far, which is operated automatically as a train leaves the bay platform. But, as with all model railways, there's always something to do.